Okay, if you notice, I have the 4 motor mounts laid out here. This is going to be our top side of the motor mounts, and what makes this the top side, which is drawn in the instructions, but I don't know if it's actually elaborated on, is the top of the motor mount where the bowl head goes in, and there's a washer that goes here as well. And then here's your bottom of the motor mount. Has the brass insert where it threads in to tighten down. Okay, so that's our top. This is very important, so just remember that this is our top. The first thing I do is install the top speed controller in each one. Okay. On the speed controller, you'll see these 9 really nice symmetrical MOSFETs. This is going to be the top and the bottom of our ESCs. Of course, the top, these are going to face, let me rephrase that, going to face to the outside, because that's where all the heat is. And the MOSFETs, of course, produce quite a bit of heat. So we want to face those up and out, and then on the bottom ones, down and out. That way we don't have heat in the middle. We've got the nice airflow from the propellers through this whole assembly, and you'll see as it goes together how simple it is. And also I'm going to show you some things on the wiring which makes everything go nice and smooth, and also fit really nicely in the boom. I think a lot of people have, with the frame stiffeners, the way they fit in here, have crimped these wires and cut them, and actually, either cut most of the wires or parts of them and caused damage to their speed controllers, and thought there was some kind of factory defect where it was actually just they didn't know how to properly insert their frame stiffener, or their boom stiffeners rather, into the, when this assembly is done. I'll show you that when we get there. But first thing we're going to do, grab a motor mount. This is a top speed controller. Longer wire, which is our signal wire, which will end up being our top wire. It's our I call it my left side wire, because this side is it makes a 90-degree turn, the wiring does, inside the boom before it goes into the frame. The main power lead, of course, ends up going down out of the frame to the power distribution wire, and of course the signal wire is going to come out the top half of the boom on the other end to go in top of the flight controller. Go ahead, I'm going to do one boom, explain the way you do. You actually have 2 straight wired. All 4 motors on both these are going to be just straight yellow, red, black wiring to the yellow, red, black on the motors. And then the other 2 booms that we're going to assemble, which we'll just assemble one boom, and that'll represent all the booms, and we'll skip on from there. I'll explain some things. There is subtle differences in all 4 booms because of the way you want the inner bolt to face to the outsides of the frame, so you can get to it to loosen it and square your motors up later in the build. It's very important that this orientation of the boom clamp is proper to get to do adjustments later, or to disassemble. Makes it a lot more convenient. Okay, so we've got our top ESC. Remember the black plastic, there's no brass in here. This is our top of all of our motor mounts. I'm going to go ahead and grab one of our ESC covers. And a lot of people, as I said, break these, and I'm going to show you how not to break these. Got your ESC laying in here. Go ahead and slide it a little bit to one side. Take your ESC cover, of course, with your beveled end, the rounded piece here going toward the rounded portion of the rear of the motor mount. I'm going to go ahead and get this one side, this side, whichever side you can start on, it don't matter, I guess, in there, and get those 2 clips aligned with the 4 little holes here on the side. These 2 here that we're working with now. We'll push that in there, and what you want to do is lift your ESC up to where the angle that's not, the side that's not clipped in is up inside of this lid, not down laying flat in the motor mount. This will keep you from breaking these tabs. You'll never break the tabs as long as you do this. But there's plenty of room. There shouldn't be any reason to break the tabs. People just get in a hurry, I think, or something. I'm not sure. I've never broken a tab. But let me get those lined up. You put a little pressure with your thumb from this side to push to keep those tabs kind of in place. And I actually go at this point and take one of my wrenches, my 1.5, and I make sure I stick it here under the speed control and lift up on the side that's not laid down in the tray, the side that's actually up in the ESC's cover. So once I've got that lifted up, I just squeeze a little, because there's nothing down there to stop it now. Squeeze that. Now it's laying down in on both sides, but it's not connected. So I want to make sure that I pull this back to where it sits right in there really nicely, and that lines up the 4 tabs. And go ahead and press it down. If it's not all the way back, it's better a little bit forward. That way you're not binding, trying to push it in. Pull it back in place to where it's hitting that. Okay, now you've got it down in place, but it isn't actually latched. It's very simple. I'll go ahead and latch these. Just put pressure in the center of your ESC cover. I don't know if you'll hear this or not, but I hope you do. Just a little pressure there, and that spreads it out. I must not be in complete alignment. I am. It is. Anyway, just put a little pressure in the center, like there, and just kind of push in. It'll bend a little, and that will seat your tabs out in all 4 of your slots on each side. And that you'll do that on every speed control. We can go ahead and put all the speed controls in on all 8 motors right now, which is kind of a good way to do it. That way you keep the same process going with your ESC covers. But the one thing you do want to do before you proceed, I do all the top motors first on each one when I do it, because what I want to do is put a piece of tape on my top ESC signal lead. It's very important for lining up your motors 1 through 8. Mark your top one some way. I put blue tape around mine.